Hello everybody. So today I'm going to be telling you guys my labor and delivery story. I am 2 days postpartum now. My baby is 2 days old. He is so perfect and he is everything I've ever dreamed of and more. I love him so much. So let's just get right into it. So I had an unmedicated water birth and my labor was 24 hours long. It started on the 29th of December at like 3 to 5 a.m. I started getting contractions, and mind you, I was 38 weeks and 2 days? 38 weeks and 2 days, and he was due January 10th, and I was so sure that he was gonna come after his due date because he was measuring small. He was born 6 pounds and 1 ounce. So I really thought he was gonna come after his due date. But he wanted to be born in 2022, so that's fine by me. 37 weeks, I feel like I hadn't dropped or anything. I feel like I hadn't dropped or anything. I hadn't had one contraction, hadn't lost my mucus plug, hadn't done nothing. And then my 38-week appointment, I had a little bit of pelvic pain, and my family was saying it looked like my stomach dropped a little bit, but I still was just in denial because, like I said, I thought he was gonna come after his due date. Like I literally had no expectations for him to come any earlier. I thought he was gonna cook up, but he wanted to come earlier and meet his mommy. So yeah, so the day before I started having contractions, actually the 28th, I made red raspberry leaf tea and okra water, and I had 1 little cup of it. So I don't know if this is what went to labor or whatever, but I doubt it. But literally the smallest cup, like this much, the night before. And I started having contractions at 3 to 5 a.m. And I literally still have this big ass jug of red raspberry leaf tea and okra water that's not drinking because I already had them. And I'm like, I don't want to drink that, you know? It's gross. So contractions started around 3 to 5 a.m. They were just kind of like period cramps, but I could not sleep through them. I'm kind of a light sleeper, so like any little thing like that is just gonna bother me, especially they kept coming. And my contractions were like always consistent, but they would be like 3 minutes apart, 5 minutes apart, and then they'd be like 10 minutes apart, and then to go like, it was weird. That whole day of the 29th, it was just, but they weren't strong. The contractions weren't super intense, so I was just kind of like brushing it off. Plus also that day I had a wax appointment and a nail appointment, so I was like, I'm just gonna go about this day like it's nothing. I was like, it's probably just, you know, false labor or something. But I texted my midwife anyways that morning just to let her know that I had contractions, but I was like, they're pretty consistent, but they're not painful. Like I didn't really even have to breathe through them. They're just kind of passing and going. And then after I texted her, I got in the bath because, like I said, I had a wax appointment. So I got into the bath, and when I got out of the bath, my mucus plug came out. And so I was like, okay. And literally when I texted my midwife, I was like, they're consistent and stuff, but I haven't lost my mucus plug or anything. Boom, lost my mucus plug right after that. And I was like, okay, we're still just gonna go about the day like whatever, because you know you can use your mucus plug and have a baby hours later, days later, weeks later. It's not really an indication. So I went to a wax appointment, and I was having contractions on the drive there, but like I said, they weren't intense or anything. And as I was on the table and I was talking to her, I was like, you know, I am having contractions and stuff, but so I'll let you know. But I didn't have any contractions on the table, and they kind of like spaced out after our wax appointment. And then I had a nail appointment 2 hours after that, and I was having contractions during the nail appointment. I was just breathing and stuff. I was really uncomfortable, but they still were very much bearable. So like I said, I just went throughout the day, just the whole rest of the day, just having contractions. They would be 3, 4, 5 minutes apart, and then they'd space out, but they're pretty consistent. They just weren't strong, you know. But around like 7 p.m. I would say, I think they like stopped a little bit. And then at nighttime is when they started to get a little stronger. I could still breathe through them, but I was very uncomfortable, and at this point I was really exhausted. I hadn't slept in almost 24 hours. I've been having contractions all day, and I was like, I just want to take a nap. And I couldn't because it was just so uncomfortable. So I was in and out the tub. That's what really helped me, is just getting in and out the shower. Not hot bath, but turning the shower on and just sitting, or like kind of kneeling over in like the position that I birthed in, and just letting the hot water like run on my back. And I would turn over, let the hot water run on my stomach, turn over, and just keep doing that for like 15-20 minutes. And I would try to get out the tub, take a nap, wouldn't work, get back in the tub, and it was just a cycle. I also tried to use a heating pad, but the heating pad wasn't really working, just because the contractions were getting stronger and it wasn't really helping. The shower though really helped me. And around 11 p.m. my contractions got way more intense, and my car seat was not installed. And I told my brother, you need to install my car seat, because I don't know, like I feel like maybe he might be coming sooner than expected. So they installed my car seat, and then after that I threw up my dinner, which was not fun. But I know that's another sign of labor, is like throwing up. So I threw up my dinner, and I was just, at that point, just kept contracting, kept contracting. And around 12 a.m. I texted my midwife, and I was like, is there anything I can take to like go to sleep? Because I'm just like, the contractions are hurting, I can't go to sleep, and I'm just really fucking exhausted. I was like, I really just want to go to sleep. And she was like, you can take some Benadryl or a glass of wine. I was like, girl, I'm not drinking a glass of wine. First of all, I don't even drink wine. Second of all, I just threw up. Like, I did not want a glass of wine, and I didn't have Benadryl. So I took one little thing of melatonin. It didn't do anything, but I tried. And after that, like I said, I still couldn't go to sleep, and I was just laying in bed. I was just turning from side to side, trying to breathe through my contractions, trying to do everything. And at this point, I would time them on and off. I would say around 2 a.m. I was getting in and out of the shower, in and out of the shower, in and out of the shower. And I was really trying not to text my midwife. Like, I was just trying to labor at home as much as possible. And like I said, I didn't think he was gonna come so quickly, you know? So I was trying not to text her, and then I just started getting into this mindset of like doubting myself. And at this point, I was so exhausted, I was so tired, I just wanted to go to sleep. I was like, I can go to the hospital, I can get an epidural, and I can just take a nap. Like, I wasn't even thinking about the contractions. I was like, I just want to take a nap. So I was just thinking of escape routes at that point. So I went ahead and I called my midwife at 3 a.m. and I was like, hey, these contractions are getting like really intense, and honestly, I'm thinking of escape routes, and I'm just like going through it. Basically, I'm just fucking going through it. And she was listening to me have contractions on the phone, and she was like, and I wasn't making any noises at the point. I would just breathe, like, just breathe. And she was like, it seems like they're not super intense to the point, you know, yet. She said it sounds like maybe you're at like a 4 to 5. And hearing that, I was like, this hurts so bad. Like, I just thought I had like so many hours of labor left, you know. And I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do this. I was kind of getting to that mindset. She said we can plan. She sent me the mile circuit to do, the breathing positions to do, to try to activate labor and speed things up. And she was like, we can plan to meet at 5:30. This is 3 a.m. She said we can plan to meet at 5:30, and we'll see if they intensify. And she was like, you can call me if you need anything or if you feel like they're getting stronger. And I was like, alrighty. Literally, as soon as we hung up the phone, the contractions hit me like a fucking bus. I was no longer breathing. I was moaning, I was groaning. The only birthing position I did was like basically like the doggy style position. And I don't know why. I guess it was just because contractions, but like that position was hurting me so bad. Like, it hurt to be in that position. Like, my back was hurting. My back hurts so bad now. I think it's just labor, but being in that position, ooh, it hurt my back so bad, and it made the contractions hurt even worse. But I was literally in that position for 10 minutes, contractions horrible. And she texted me checking up on me, and she's like, hey, how are you doing? we might be meeting up soon or something. And I was like, I'm dying. I literally just texted her, I said, I'm dying. And she was like, we can meet earlier if you want to. And I was like, yeah, because keep in mind, I do live an hour away from the birthing center. So my whole thing was I wanted to labor at home and be at the birthing center as least amount of time possible. And I did not want to get sent home from the birthing center. Right after that, I got my ass up and I woke my brother up and I was like, you need to take me to the birthing center right now. Like, we're leaving right now. So I kept having contractions. We got in the car. My brother was speeding through traffic. Not even traffic, because it was 4 a.m. Just speeding, going through it. I'm gonna insert some pictures of me in the car. I was just holding on to the thing, just moaning. And at this point, my body already started pushing. So I could have had him in the car. I really could have. But my body started pushing and I felt it, but I didn't know if it was like me doing it or my body doing it, because like I said, it's my first baby. So my body was pushing in the car. I was having contractions and I felt my body pushing because I felt pressure near my vagina, and it was just like, it felt like something was trying to come out, you know. But we got to the birthing center in about like 30-40 minutes, and so we got there around 5. Went to the room. I laid down on the bed. I didn't say shit. I just laid on the bed and just was having my contractions. And I'll insert another picture of me laying on the bed. I started having my contractions, and at this point I was moaning, and like I said, it felt like my body was trying to push. So I would be like grunting while I was doing contractions. I told her, I was like, I feel like it's like I'm like trying to, she's like, your body trying to push. She was like, just listen to your body, listen to your body. I was like so in denial because I did not think that I was gonna get there and he was gonna come out. Like, he literally, I birthed him 30 minutes into getting to the birthing center. So I could have very much had him in the car, but it was so crazy. But I'm so happy he came fast. Yeah, I was laying down and contracting, had that feeling to push, and I felt an overwhelming like urge to push, and I couldn't control it, and my water broke on the bed. So after my water broke, she was like, okay, after this contraction ends, we're gonna get in the tub. So after the contraction ended, I went ahead and got in the tub, and as soon as I got in the tub, like the next contraction, his head was starting to come out. But I didn't think it was his head. I just felt that pressure of having to push, and I just put my head down, I put my hand down there to feel, and I felt his hair, and I was like, oh, I think that's his hair. And she was like, yep. And I was like, this is so crazy. Like, I literally just got on top and I'm already pushing. Like, it's just not what I don't know, imagine. You never know what you imagine labor to be, but he came so quick. And I brought like combs for labor. I brought like pictures of my grandma and my dad. I had no time to set that up. I did not use the combs at all. I got in the tub and pushed him out right then and there. But yeah, so as soon as I got in the tub, he was crowning, and the first couple pushes were trying to, like, I couldn't control it, so they're kind of hard, and I felt the ring of fire. But honestly, the ring of fire wasn't really terrible in my opinion. But I really didn't want to tear. That was one thing I didn't want to do. I did not want to tear. And so as I was like, my body was pushing and I was like kind of pushing hard, I like reminded myself, was like, hold on, like you need to slow down. Sorry. So I remember this. So I push hard and I feel his head come a little bit more, and then it would stop and come out a little bit more and stop a little bit more. So I was like pushing his head out. And then finally, I think maybe about like 2 or 3 contractions, his head was out. And then I like leaned back a little bit, and I literally birthed him in the exact position that I imagined to birth him in. But I leaned back a little bit, and I looked at my midwife, and I was like, his body, do I push like how I push his head, or is it a big push? I like trusted everything with my eyes. She's like, a big push, you want to get him all out. And I was like, okay, bet. And so I think I got him out in 1 contraction or 2 contractions. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at my labor video. But I just pushed him out. Next contraction, I grabbed him. He was like tangled up in his umbilical cord, just around his body. So he was like underwater, like he was underwater, like ah. I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And I just put him on my chest, and that was it. He was here. my mom missed the labor. She was on the way from work, and she was getting gas. So it was my brother, his girlfriend, and my midwife, and we just had my son. But yeah, so basically the time frame was I got to the birthing center around 5 a.m. My water broke, she said, I think at 5:14, and he was out of me at 5:21. So it was super quick. I'm so thankful that like the delivery went quick. The labor was long, but the delivery was quick, and it was so easy. And that's what I manifested my whole pregnancy. I kept saying I'm gonna have a gentle, easy, effortless birth, and that's exactly, it wasn't effortless, but you know, or gentle or easy, but at the end of the day, like most of it was, and it could have gone way worse. And I'm just so thankful of how it went. So throughout my pregnancy, I would always say we're powerful, we're strong, we're loved, we're abundant, we're prospering, we're growing, we're safe, we're protected. I constantly said these things like every single day because I had a lot of anxiety during my pregnancy because he is my rainbow baby. Another thing, bro, the female body is fucking amazing. It's so, this might be TMI, but it's a little crazy. Like, it was harder for me to push my placenta out than it was to push him out. Like, he just came out like bloop. The placenta though, I was like sitting there for 10 minutes trying to push the placenta out, and like she was like tugging on it a little bit, and it hurt, and it just like wasn't, it was just like tight, like it just wouldn't come out. It was so weird. But I guess because he was like pushing, you know, my body was trying to push him out, and the placenta you kind of have to do it yourself. So yeah, the female body is crazy. That snapback like right after too, I'm like, what the hell? But I'm so happy to be a woman. I'm so glad to be this little boy's mom, and he's just so perfect, and I'm so blessed. 24 hours of labor, but it was so worth it. The contractions are the worst part. Pushing is not that bad. The ring fire is not that bad. I did not tear at all. She said I had like 2 micro tears, which is like basically like a paper cut. But I'm 2 days postpartum. I was using like the dermaplast and like Tux cooling pads, but really I don't really even need to use it. I had my first bowel movement today. It didn't hurt. I just pee, and I used the Perry bottle because the first day it did kind of burn, but now it doesn't really burn to pee. Yeah, so I would do it all over again for him. And I definitely want to have another unmedicated water birth, I think, with all my children, just because it was so worth it. It was hard and it was challenging, but like it was so chill. Like my birth was just so chill, so I don't know, like nonchalant. Like it was just, the vibes were just there. It was just and I don't want to be in a hospital, you know. Like I said, I was trying to find escape routes just because of the pain, but it was mostly because I was so tired. Like I could deal with the pain, but I was just so tired. If you want to have a water birth or an unmedicated birth, please do it. It's so worth it, and just believe in yourself. You can do it. The contractions are the worst part, but your baby is worth everything. And if you're gonna push, do not push like they're telling the hospital, like just reverse breathing, or just helps a lot. But yeah, that's my story. I'm so happy. I hope all you mamas have all you expecting mamas have great labor and delivery and healthy babies. And if you're already mom, I hope and wish you guys blessings into this new year. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little labor and delivery story.